Before the Binding of Isaac, roguelikes were these niche, dusty dungeon crawlers that most people ignored. But then Edmund McMillen dropped this weird crying child into a basement, and suddenly it was the only thing anyone wanted to play. It mastered the one more run loop better than anything I've ever seen. Between the infinite item combos and the onion style design where every victory just peeled away a deeper layer of secrets, you never felt like you were done. You felt like the game was hiding something from you and you had to find it. Edmund doesn't design his game around you winning. His whole philosophy is built on games that don't just refuse to hold your hand, they actively try to slap it. He loves that unfair, chaotic randomization where a run can either end simply because the universe decided it was your time to go, or you could gain the most overpowered combination possible and break the game. Truthfully, I really hate losing, more so than the usual person. Usually to the point where I avoid the challenge outright, hence my dislike for the roguelike genre. But I love cats, I love turn-based games, I do love a good management system in my games. So here I am, 40 hours in, stuck at the second stage of Act 2, still absolutely obsessed. I don't know how he did it, but Edmund McMillen has done it again.
Driving down this lonesome road, burdened by a heavy load. Sand and asphalt are my friends, until this journey's at an end.
At its heart, Mewgenics is a game about taking a ragtag band of cats on an adventure for no particular reason other than the pure fun of it. You head out, you get into fights, find treasure, and you come back home just to do it all over again. It's a familiar loop with an insane amount of complexity to it. The game is divided into 3 distinct acts, each offering 2 branching paths. They are entirely unique biomes populated with their own specific enemies, environmental hazards, and special loot. This creates an endless procedural loop where no 2 runs ever feel quite the same. Your cats also come in a variety of different flavors, with various different stats that denote what role they would excel in, whether they can tank at the front or hide in the back and deal big damage. Unlike the real-time combat of Binding of Isaac, Mugenics is a turn-based grid-type game. It demands a particular level of spatial awareness because every tile does matter. Every knockback effect or environmental puddle can be a difference between a flawless victory and a total party wipe. Classes are assigned via callers at the start of the run. You have your traditional archetypes, the tough melee bruisers, the indispensable tanks, the glass cannon ranged attackers, and the overworked clerics. As you progress, you unlock specialized callers that push these roles into weird experimental territory. However, the true secret sauce of Mewgenics, and the part that will likely consume hundreds of your hours, is the breeding system. You pair cats together in the hopes of producing a perfect specimen. Currently, a base stat of 7 is the gold standard, and chasing that number feels like a full-time job. Then there's the mutation system. These mutations are breedable, providing a dizzying array of buffs and debuffs that physically alter your cats. You might end up with a cat that has extra limbs for more attacks, or something far more grotesque that provides a massive stat boost at the cost of its sanity. The potential to craft the perfectly insane feline in terms of both power and aesthetics is what makes the meta progression so addictive. You have to understand though that Mewgenics is a roguelike in the truest sense of the word. Losing is a mechanical certainty. You will face unfair odds, you will watch your favorite perfectly bred cats get eaten by a boss because of one bad move, and that's by design. McMillen's design philosophy here is centered on the beauty of transience. In Mewgenics, nothing is forever. Items will eventually shatter after a few excursions, and eventually even your most legendary heroes will retire. You can't send a retired cat back into an adventure. This forces a constant state of roster evolution. You can't rely on a single crutch character to carry you. You have to constantly be breeding the next generation, ensuring that the skills and passives of the past are passed down to the kittens of the future. This cycle of loss is mitigated by the housing system. Your home base is where the sim elements of the game takes over. Managing your cat's health, their relationships, and their living conditions is just as vital as the combat. A poorly managed house leads to sick cats and failed kittens. By investing in your home, you are essentially investing in the probability of future success. This is not a game you can complete in a weekend. It is a dense, abstruse mountain of systems that requires you to engage with every single gear in the machine. I'll be honest, I haven't even reached Act 3 yet. The difficulty spike from Act 2 onward requires a more intense amount of patience and work to develop the right cats and find the right items to persevere. It is a brilliant, messy, and deeply rewarding experience that proves that the one more run mindset is still very much alive and well. Ultimately, Mewgenics feels like the natural evolution of everything Edmund McMillen has been building towards for the last decade. If The Binding of Isaac was about the trauma of the individual, Mewgenics is about the chaotic, messy legacy of a bloodline. It takes the same lightning in a bottle addictive quality and stretches it across generations, forcing you to care about the DNA of your characters. It's a game that is profoundly comfortable with being uncomfortable. It demands that you build your entire strategy around loss. In any other game, losing your best unit to a bad roll or a crumbling item would be a reason to quit and never look back. But here, that loss is just the fertilizer for the next generation. You're playing a long-form game of genetic chess, where even a game over screen is just a data point for your next breeding pair. The brilliance of the design lies in the friction between its two halves. You have the high-stakes, every tile counts tactical combat of the 3 acts, and the cozy yet stressful management of your home base, and the eugenics-based pursuit of the perfect cat. One fuels the other in a way that makes the 40-hour mark feel like you've barely scratched the surface. I might still be banging my head against the wall of Act 2, and I might still harbor a deep-seated resentment for the unfair RNG that wipes out my favorite rangers, but I can't stop. The game has successfully bypassed my hatred for losing by making the process of rebuilding just as satisfying as the victory itself. Mugenics is gross, it's complicated, and it's unapologetically difficult. It's a mountain of systems that shouldn't work together on paper, yet they form one of the most cohesive and sticky gameplay loops I've experienced in years. Edmund McMillan has created a digital ecosystem that thrives on your failure. That is to say, Mugenics is absolutely worth your time. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. My name's Vinsuka. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya. People call